Good evening, children. Welcome to Yup Master, the school foundation program. In the previous classes, we have started discussing about the Graham's law, and we have seen some of the questions related to the Graham's law. Okay, so welcome back again to the chemistry class, and today also let us focus on some of the concepts that we are going to discuss with respect to the advanced level questions of Graham's law. In the previous class, we have stopped at the multi-answer, multi-correct type of answer type of questions. Okay. Today let us look at the passage type of questions as well as the matrix matching integer type of questions. So I thought let us discuss some questions related to the Graham's law with respect to the advanced level that can be expected in the examination, or these type of questions can be expected in the examination, competitive examinations. Okay, I think you are going to love it and you are going to enjoy the class as well. Okay, so let us move on to the discussion. Yeah, let us start with the passage type. Since in the last class we have stopped at multi correct answer type questions, let us start with the passage type. Okay, so the passage is given as according to the Graham's law, R1 by R2 is equal to D2 by D1, where R1 and R2 are the rate of diffusion of two gases 1 and 2, and whereas D1 and D2 are the densities of gases 1 and 2. Okay, so two gases are taken. For two gases, the rate of diffusion ratio is equal to square root of their densities. Of course, when you observe here, it is very clearly indicating that the density and rate of diffusion of the gases are inversely proportional to one another. Okay, so based on this, we are going to have questions in the examination. Right. According to Graham's law, at a given temperature, the ratio of the rates of diffusion of R1 by R2 of gases A and B is given by, according to Graham's law, at a given temperature. So here they are taking the temperature as a constant. What is constant here? Temperature parameter is constant. So when you keep the temperature parameter constant, what about the ratio of rates of diffusion of gases 2, that is A and B gases. Okay, so they have taken gases A and B. Gas A, its rate of diffusion is R1. Okay, gas B, its rate of diffusion is R2. So they are asking us to look at the correct option for the ratio of the two gases, the ratio of the rate of diffusion of the two gases R1 and R2. So R1 by R2 equal to what? So let us see here, the options are given as P1 by P2 into root of M2 by M1, M1 by M2 into root of P1 by P2, P1 by P2 into root of M1 by M2, M2 by M1 root of P1 by P2. So here the relation between the rate of diffusions and the pressure as well as the molecular mass is given. We have already seen while we are discussing the theory part of Graham's law, there we have got an equation when you are going to keep the temperature constant. So when temperature is kept constant, in that case the rate of diffusion is directly proportional to the pressure. Higher the pressure of the gas, rate of diffusion will be also high. Okay, since the pressure is more, so automatically diffusion will also, rate of diffusion will also be more for any gas. Okay, so when you look at the molecular mass and rate of diffusion are inversely proportional, and we have derived according to the Graham's law, at a given constant temperature and pressure, the rate of diffusion of a gas inversely proportional to square root of its molecular mass, that we have derived. Okay, so we know that R is directly proportional to the pressure. Okay, and R is inversely proportional to the square root of its molecular mass, square root of its molecular mass. So we have to take these two into consideration, and then we have to write the equation R1 by R2 for two gases. If we are going to take the ratio of first gas, rate of diffusion of first gas to the rate of diffusion of the second gas is equal to P1 by P2, because pressures are directly proportional, R1 and P1, R2 and P2, and it is inversely proportional to the square root of the molecular masses, so it should be root of M2 by M1. So this should be the equation. Okay, so among the options, if you observe, the B and D can be ruled out because it is given root for the pressures and no root for the molecular masses. So you can see these two, and in this case if you observe P1 and P2, P1 and P2. But when you look at the molecular masses, it is M1 and M2 under root, and it is M2 by M1 under root. So this should be the correct answer. Okay, P1 by P2 excuse me, P1 by P2 into root of M2 by M1 is the answer for this particular equation. Okay. I think we got the correct answer based on the pressures as well as the molecular masses of the two gases. Okay. Right. Looking at the second one, yeah, you can clearly observe here 4 grams of hydrogen gas diffused through a small hole in 5 seconds, and that too at a pressure of 1 atmosphere. Okay. The amount of oxygen diffused in the same interval of time, same interval of time in the sense same time you have to consider, that is to say 5 seconds. Okay. Same interval means when here the time is 5 seconds. Okay. At 1.5 atmospheres, pressure is 1.5, but here the pressure is 1 atmosphere. Okay. Pressures are different but times are same, and the same temperature is same. So what will be the amount of oxygen that will be diffused in 5 seconds at 1.5 atmospheric pressure by keeping the temperature constant? How to do this problem? Can you analyze? What are the parameters given? Hydrogen mass is given and we have to calculate the oxygen mass, and we directly not going to use the mass in this case, we are going to use number of moles. We know that the moles can be calculated. Mole is equal to weight by gram molecular weight. Weight by gram molecular weight will give us the number of moles. So here what is weight given for hydrogen? For hydrogen it is 4 grams. We know that the molecular mass of hydrogen is 2. So 4 by 2, this will be 2. Okay. So 2 moles of hydrogen gas is diffusing through a small hole in 5 seconds at 1 atmospheric pressure, and we should require what is the oxygen that is diffusing in the same time at 1.5 atmospheric pressure by keeping the temperature constant. So here it clearly indicates that temperature is only the parameter which is constant, pressure is varying. So what could be the relation that we can expect in this case? For example, if I am going to write for hydrogen and oxygen, hydrogen rate of diffusion is RH2, let us say, oxygen rate of diffusion is RO2. Okay. So we can define the rate of diffusion in terms of moles also. How to define? As we have defined, the amount of gas diffused in a given time is taken as rate of diffusion. Okay. So here amount of hydrogen gas diffused can be taken in terms of moles. The number of moles of hydrogen gas diffused in a given time is the rate of diffusion of hydrogen, and the number of moles of oxygen diffused in that time is the rate of diffusion of oxygen. So we can write RH2 as number of moles of hydrogen by time taken by the hydrogen gas to diffuse. Okay. Similarly, RO2, that is rate of diffusion of oxygen, equal to number of moles of oxygen by time taken for oxygen to diffuse. So this is the formula we have to apply. Now take the ratio RH2 by RO2, which is equal to, okay, number of moles of hydrogen by time. Here if you observe, the time taken for the two gases is same. So I am omitting the time parameters in the equation. So number of moles of hydrogen divided by number of moles of oxygen, which is equal to, since the temperature is kept constant, so pressure is varying, so we have to use pressure parameter here, and we know that pressure of hydrogen divided by pressure of oxygen into the square root of molecular mass of oxygen by molecular mass of hydrogen. So this is the formula which we have to apply in order to calculate the amount of oxygen that got diffused in the same time interval at 1.5 atmospheric pressure. Okay. So this is the formula you have to apply. This is the formula just we have seen: R1 P1, R2 P2, RH2 PH2, RO2 PO2. Okay. Like this we have to apply, and we have to go for calculating the number of moles of oxygen. From number of moles we can easily calculate the mass of oxygen that got diffused. Okay, let us try this one. Now R of H2 by R of O2, that is rate of diffusion of H2 divided by rate of diffusion of oxygen, equal to number of moles of hydrogen. Number of moles of hydrogen 4 divided by 2, we just now calculated, it is 2 moles. Okay, and we don't know the number of moles of oxygen, that has to be calculated, which is equal to pressure P1 PH2, that is pressure of hydrogen gas. What is the pressure of hydrogen gas? It is 1. Okay, then pressure divided by pressure of oxygen. What is the pressure of oxygen? It is 1.5. So, it is 1.5 into square root of pressure of molecular mass of oxygen, molecular mass of oxygen under root, it is 32 divided by molecular mass of hydrogen, it is 2. So, when you go for solving this one, it will be 2 divided by N of O2 will be equal to 1 by 1.5 into, so if you are going for cancellation, 2 ones are 2 16s are 32, right? 16 under root 4 square, so it will be coming out as 4. So, it is 4 into 4, okay, 1 by 1.5 into 4 is the value for this particular square root. 2 ones are 2, 16s are 32, that 16 under root is 4, 4 4s are 16, so 4 square and root gets cancelled, 4 will come out and it is 4, okay. Now, from this, number of moles of O2 will be equal to, I am sending the NO2 to other side, okay, number of moles of oxygen I am sending to other side, so these parameters will come this side, 1.5 is in denominator, so it will come up and it will be 2 into 1.5 divided by 4, divided by 4. So, when you go for cancellation, it is 1s and 2s are, 2 1s are 0.75. How many moles of oxygen we have having in this case? Diffusing in the same time interval at 1.5 atmosphere pressure by keeping the temperature, it is 0.75 moles. So, this is the number of moles that we have calculated. Is it the over? No, it is not over. What do you have to calculate? We have to calculate the amount of oxygen. We got now number of moles. So, the 0.75 moles we have obtained, or you can write it as 3 by 4 moles obtained, okay, 3 by 4 moles. You can take 2 into 1.5, 1.5 2s are 3, 3 by 4. So, I am keeping as it is. You can keep it as it is, 3 by 4 or 0.75 moles we have got. Now, we know that number of moles equal to weight of oxygen by molecular mass of oxygen, that is 32. Weight of oxygen by molecular mass of oxygen will give us number of moles. Number of moles what we have calculated is 3 by 4, okay. Now, I am applying moles formula. Moles equal to weight by molecular weight. So, I am writing moles equal to weight by molecular weight. Now, if I am going for calculating, if I am calculating the number of the weight of oxygen in this case, weight of oxygen will be equal to number of moles into the molecular mass of oxygen, okay. 4 1s are 4 8s are 8 3s are 24. So, 24 grams of oxygen will diffuse in a same time at 1.5 atmosphere pressure when compared with the 4 grams of oxygen diffusing in 5 seconds at 1 atmospheric pressure. In both these cases, the temperature is kept constant, okay. So, this we have to keep it in mind while solving the problem. So, the answer for the 3 8s are 24, right? Yeah. So, 24 is the answer, 24 grams is the answer that we are going to get in this particular problem, right. I think you got the idea how we are going to solve. First, take the rates of ratio of the rates of the two gases in terms of number of moles, which is equal to pressures of the two gases and their inversely proportional to square root of their molecular masses. Substitute and first get the number of moles of oxygen in this case. From number of moles of oxygen, it is possible to calculate the weight of oxygen. So, we are calculating the weight of oxygen and we are getting the value as 24 grams, okay. Right. Look at the answers that are given, 16, 32, 8 and 24. So, 24 grams of option D is correct, 24 grams of the oxygen diffuse in the same interval at 1.5 atmospheric pressure, okay. Right. Let us see one more. If the volume of two gases X and Y are same under identical conditions of temperature and pressure, then they would differ in, what they have given here, we have two gases, first gas is X, second gas is Y, okay. They are kept under identical conditions of temperature and pressure. They are kept at under identical conditions of temperature and pressure. So, temperature and pressure are constant in this case. Then they would differ in which parameter they are going to differ. Rate of diffusion, kinetic energy, number of molecules, none of these. As you observed in the case of Avogadro's law, according to Avogadro concept, under the similar conditions of temperatures and pressure, equal volumes of gases always contain equal number of molecules, equal number of moles. When equal number of moles are present, so number of moles are same in the both the cases. In both the gases, the number of moles are same, the number of molecules are same. Number of molecules are same, the kinetic energy of the total molecules will also remain the constant. Okay, so these two parameters will remain constant, but rate of diffusion is going to differ. Why it is going to differ? Because we know the rate of diffusion will depend upon the density or it will depend upon the molecular mass of the gas. Since the two gases are not having the same molecular mass, there is a chance that they would differ in the rate of diffusion. So rate of diffusion is the parameter in which the two gases is going to differ. And other parameters, since the temperature and pressure kept constant, under similar conditions at a constant temperature and pressure, equal volumes of all gases contain equal number of molecules. So equal volumes are taken, so two gases will contain equal number of molecules. Equal number of molecules will have equal kinetic energy. So number of molecules, kinetic energy is same because the temperature is kept constant. Whenever we know that kinetic energy is directly proportional to temperature. Kinetic energy is directly proportional to temperature. When temperature is kept constant, whatever may be the gas, the kinetic energy will remain constant because it is going to depend only on temperature. Okay, so temperature is constant, so kinetic energy is constant for these two gases. Since the temperature and pressure both are constant and equal volumes are taken, number of molecules will also remain constant. Since the number of molecules are remain constant, which parameter is going to differ? They differ only in the rate of diffusion, because rate of diffusion and molecular masses are inversely proportional. The two gases are not having the same molecular mass, so there is a chance of differing in the rate of diffusion, since the two gases X and Y are having different masses. Okay, it's a theory based question, so you can easily attempt it. It's not that big problematic. Okay, let us look at one more passage that is given. Graham's law states that at constant pressure and temperature, the rate of diffusion or effusion of a gas is inversely proportional to square root of its density. This is the statement that is given by the Graham's law. We have seen in the previous class how the Graham's law is given, how the parameters are related with one another, rate of diffusion or it may be rate of effusion. Okay, right. Let us see the questions given with respect to this paragraph or this passage. Yeah, the ratio of rate of diffusion of a given element to that of helium is 1.414:1. What they are given? They have given that the ratio of rate of diffusion of a given element to that of helium. Helium and that element, the ratio if you observe, it is coming out to be 1.414:1. Okay. The molecular weight of the element is, what is the molecular mass of the element, that is they are asking. And we know that rate of diffusion and molecular masses are inversely proportional by this equation. So we can apply this equation. First I am writing the element E and its rate of diffusion is Re. Okay. Helium is another gas, so rate of diffusion of the helium is Rhe. Okay, right. So the ratio is given, that is rate of diffusion of the element to rate of diffusion of helium. The ratio of rate of diffusion of a given element to that of helium is coming out to be 1.414/1. So that is to say that the rate of diffusion of the element is 1.414 when the rate of diffusion of helium is 1. Okay, and this is equal to square root of molecular mass of helium, because rate of diffusion I have taken in denominator, so it should be in numerator, and molecular mass of that element E, because the element rate of diffusion I have taken in numerator, then it comes here in the denominator. Okay. Now if you observe here, this 1.414, what is this 1.414? 1.414 is the value of root 2. It is the value of root 2. So we can write it in the form of a root 2. Okay. So now I am writing it as root 2/1. So we can keep the 1.414 is root 2. So root 2/1. So 1 square or root 2, one and the same. So I am keeping the 1 also in the root and I am writing in this fashion, which is equal to square root of the molecular mass of helium to molecular mass of the element. Okay. When you squares are present on left hand side as well as right hand side, so we can just cancel by squaring them. So automatically what is the value that we are going to get? the value will be 2 by 1, which is equal to molecular mass of helium by molecular mass of the element. So, when molecular mass of element is equal to 1, molecular mass of helium is 2. So, now substitute the molecular masses of the helium and the element. You can also substitute that one also here. So, directly you can get the value. What is the molecular mass of helium? Molecular mass of helium we know it is 4. So, molecular mass of element we have to calculate. Now, this implies if I am bringing the molecular mass of element to this side and sending these parameters to other side, it becomes molecular mass of the element E equal to 4 divided by 2. So, this will be equal to 2. So, what is the molecular mass of element? The molecular mass of element is 2. Molecular mass of the element is 2 means it should be a hydrogen gas. So, it should be hydrogen gas, okay, it should be hydrogen gas. So, what we have done here, the rate of diffusion of the element and as well as helium, the ratio is given, and we are supposed to calculate the element molecular mass. It is in reverse way they have given. So, we have written the rate of diffusion of the element and rate of diffusion of the helium as this way, 1.414 by 2 is equal to root of the molecular mass of helium and molecular mass of element. 1.414 is root 2. So, I am writing root 2 by 1 or root of 2 by 1 equal to root of ME by MHE by ME. Okay. Molecular mass of helium we know it is 4. So, substituting and cancelling the term, so that the molecular mass of element is coming out to be 2. So, the molecular mass is coming out to be 2 means it should be hydrogen gas. We know that hydrogen molecular mass is 2. Okay. So, from the options we have to choose the answer. Yeah, the molecular mass of the element is coming out to be 2 in this case. Okay. So, option 1A is the correct answer for this question. Yeah, rate of diffusion of sulfur dioxide and carbon dioxide are in the ratio. So, they have given the two gases, sulfur dioxide and carbon dioxide. We have to calculate the rate of diffusions and we have to give the answer. So, we know that in the case of sulfur dioxide and carbon dioxide, let us say RSO2 is the rate of diffusion of sulfur dioxide, RCO2 is the rate of diffusion of carbon dioxide. Okay. So, rate of diffusion of sulfur dioxide to rate of diffusion of carbon dioxide, when I take according to Graham's concept, we can write it as square root of the molecular mass of carbon dioxide divided by molecular mass of sulfur dioxide. Okay. So, substituting the molecular mass of carbon dioxide, carbon is 12 and 2 oxygens we have, each oxygen is 16 grams, 16 to the 32. So, 32 plus 12 it is coming out to be 44. So, 44 is the molecular mass of carbon dioxide. So, I am substituting the molecular mass of carbon dioxide as 44. Look at the molecular mass of sulfur dioxide. Sulfur is 32, 1 atom, and oxygen 2 atoms 32. 32 plus 32 it is 64. So, I am substituting the molecular mass of sulfur dioxide as 64. Okay. Now, when we go for the cancellation, it is 4 11s are 44, okay, divided by 4 16s are 64. So, this can be written as square root of 11, we cannot write anyway. So, I am keeping as it is square root of 11 by square root of 16, 16 I can write it as 4 square. So, square and the root gets cancelled out. So, 16 becomes 4 here. So, what is the ratio that is coming out? So, the rate of sulfur dioxide is to rate of diffusion of carbon dioxide will be equal to root 11 is to 4. Root 11 is to 4 is the answer. Okay. So, what we are doing here, it is a very simple mathematical calculation that we are carrying out. We have taken the rate of diffusion of sulfur dioxide and carbon dioxide correlated to their molecular masses under root, substituting the molecular masses and cancelling. So, I am cancelling with into 4th table. So, 4 11s are 44, 4 6 is in the 64. So, 11 by 16. So, 11 I cannot write or I cannot take it out. So, I am keeping root of 11 as it is, but root 16 is 4 square. So, I am keeping out as a 4. So it is root 11 is to 4 is the answer for the rate of diffusion of sulfur dioxide and carbon dioxide. Root 11 is to 4 is the answer. Okay. So let us see the correct answer. Yeah, root 11 is to 4 is the correct answer. The other answers are wrong in this case. Okay, root 11 is to 4, right? Yeah, now let us look at the matrix matching type of questions. Column 1 and column 2 are given. Pressure exerted by the individual gas, pressure of water vapor, pressure of dry gas, Pi is equal to Xi into P total. In case of column 2, P is given as aqueous tension, Q is recorded minus pH2O, R is partial pressure, S is total pressure. So, you have to match column 1 element parameters to column 2 parameters. So, what is given here? Pressure exerted by the individual gas. Pressure exerted by individual gas is partial pressure. So, what is partial pressure here? R. So, this is R. So, A is R. Okay, A is R. That is pressure exerted by the individual gas is R. So, A correlated to R. Now, B. What is B? Pressure of water vapor. Water vapor pressure, we have calculated that whenever we go for a preparation of any gas, we may generally pass the gas through the water and we go in an inverted vessel collecting the process. So, thereby some of the gas will take water in the form of its vapor. So, the pressure obtained in that case will be the pressure of gas as well as the pressure of water is present. So, the pressure of water vapor that is exerted, we call it as aqueous tension. So, what is aqueous tension here? It is P. So, we can write it as P. So, pressure of the water vapor is P, that is aqueous tension. Okay. And how we can going to calculate the dry gas pressure? Pressure of a dry gas we can calculate by subtracting. We know that in the case of the moist gas, pressure of the moist gas equal to pressure of dry gas plus aqueous tension. Okay, that is pressure of water. So, pressure of dry gas, if I want to calculate, I have to subtract the aqueous tension from moist gas. Okay, that is recorded pressure. So, pressure of dry gas is nothing but the pressure of recorded minus pressure of water, that is water vapor. Here the pressure exerted by the water vapor, that is aqueous tension. Subtracting the aqueous tension from recorded pressure will give us the pressure of dry gas. So, C is Q. Okay. So, C is correlated to Q. Very good. Then look at the last one, D. Pi equal to Xi into P total. What is Xi here? It is the mole fraction of ith gas. So, pressure of any gas we can calculate by using the equation P of a gas, that is partial pressure of a gas, is equal to molecular mass or the mole fraction of the gas into P total. So, this is the equation which we have derived, and based on this concept we have done so many problems also. So, pressure of a gas is equal to pressure of the mole fraction of the gas into P total. So, we can take this as the what do you call pressure of the partial pressure of the gas. So, partial pressure of a gas equal to mole fraction of the gas into P total. So, this is partial pressure. So, we can take the partial pressure as R. Okay, this is R. So, even D is also correlated to R. Okay. So, A is correlated to R, B is correlated to P, C is correlated to Q, D is correlated to R again, R partial pressure. Okay. So, you can clearly observe the correlation that is given between the two cases. So, here the A as well as D both are correlated to the R in this case, that is partial pressure of the gas. So, this kind of matrix matching is possible in the case of the advanced level questions from Dalton's law. Okay. One more matrix matching type. Movement of gas molecules. Movement of gas molecules, gas with the least rate of diffusion, gas with the highest rate of diffusion, spontaneous mixing of gases. So, these are the 4 parameters given in column 1. Okay. Let us look at the column 2 now. In column 2, P is given unaffected by gravity, diffusion, hydrogen gas, helium gas. This is uranium. When treated with the fluorine, we get hexafluorouranium. So, UFX as a gas. So these are the given column, parameters in column 2. Now, movement of gas molecules is generally unaffected by the gravity. So gravity does not affect the movement of the gas molecules. So A, in this case we can correlate it to P, that is A is correlated to P, movement of gas molecules is unaffected by the gravity. And when you observe the second one, B, gas with the least rate of diffusion. So when you look at the rate of diffusion and molecular masses, they are inversely proportional. So rate of diffusion here, it is having least rate of diffusion. Least rate of diffusion means R is low. When R is low means what about the molecular mass? Molecular mass should be highest. So among the given gases, hydrogen, helium and UF6 are given. So among these gases, this UF6 has highest molecular mass, okay, uranium and hexafluoro. Fluorine 6 atoms and 1 uranium atom are present. So molecular mass of this one will be highest when compared with these two. So in that case, in the case of UF6, the rate of diffusion will be very low because the molecular mass is highest. So the gas with the least rate of diffusion is this one, T. So this is T. This B is related to T, whereas A is related to P, B is related to T. Okay. Look at the third one. Gas with the highest rate of diffusion, gas with highest rate of diffusion. So now rate of diffusion should be high. When rate of diffusion is high means what about the molecular mass? Molecular mass should be the lowest. So among the given 3, which is having the lowest molecular mass? Hydrogen molecular mass is 2, helium molecular mass is 4. So automatically among these two, so hydrogen should have the highest rate of diffusion. So C is correlated to R. Okay. And we know the spontaneous mixing of gases is known as diffusion. What is spontaneous mixing of gases? It is diffusion. So D is correlated to Q. Spontaneous mixing of gases, as I told you, the rate of the speed with which it is going to occupy, the process of accumulating or the spontaneous mixing is generally taken as diffusion process. Okay. So spontaneous mixing of gases is diffusion. Rate with the highest, gas with the highest rate of diffusion is hydrogen. Gas with the least rate of diffusion is UF6, and movement of gas molecules is not affected by the gravity. So we can correlate the A, B, C, D. A is correlated to P, B is correlated to T, C then correlated to R, D is taken to Q. So you can clearly observe the parameters given and then you can decide how we are going to match it. And there are some instances where 2 parameters will be coming onto the same parameter given in column 1. So that may be also possible. So depending upon the given options, you have to be carefully select the diffusions or the correlation between the 2 parameters given in column 1 and column 2. Okay. Let us look at some of the integer type questions. Among the following total number of gases whose rate of diffusion is more than sulfur dioxide. So they have given the reference as sulfur dioxide. So we know that in the case of sulfur dioxide, rate of diffusion of sulfur dioxide depends upon its molecular mass. So we have to calculate the molecular mass of sulfur dioxide. Also calculate the molecular mass of all the gases that are given as the options and compare them. And from that you have to choose that gas which diffuse very fastly when compared with the sulfur dioxide. Okay, total number of gases whose rate of diffusion is more. Rate of diffusion is more. So these are the gases given. So from we have to choose the gases which are having more rate of diffusion when compared with the sulfur dioxide. Just now we have calculated the mass of sulfur dioxide as 64. Mass of sulfur dioxide is 64. And here a hydrogen is given. Hydrogen molecular mass we know it is 2. Okay. Helium molecular mass is 4. Carbon dioxide, just now we have calculated the molecular mass of carbon dioxide is 44. Sulfur trioxide, 1 sulfur atom, 3 oxygen atoms. So this will be 32 plus 48. So this will be 80. Okay. So it is 80. Oxygen, we know the molecular mass of oxygen is 32. Okay. Chlorine, 35.5, 35.5. So this will be 71. So when you observe the molecular masses of these gases and rate of diffusion, generally molecular mass and rate of diffusion are inversely proportional. If the molecular mass is more, in that case rate of diffusion will be less. If the molecular mass is less, rate of diffusion will be high. So what we have to choose? We have to choose those gases whose molecular mass is less than 64, whose molecular mass is less than 64. Okay. So if you observe here, hydrogen gas molecular mass is 2. So this is less than 64. So we can choose this one. And helium molecular mass is 4. This is also less than 64. Carbon dioxide is also less than 64. That is 44 is less than 64. Sulfur dioxide 80 more than 64. So that is omitted. Oxygen 32 only. So it is less than 64. So automatically the gases whose molecular mass is less than 64, their rate of diffusion will be more than that of the sulfur dioxide. Okay. So except the sulfur trioxide and chlorine gas, all other gases molecular masses are lower than the molecular mass of sulfur dioxide. Therefore their rate of diffusion will be more. Their rate of diffusion will be more. So how many gases we have here with a molecular mass less than that of the sulfur dioxide? One is hydrogen, other is helium, carbon dioxide and oxygen. So 4 gases. So what is the answer here? Answer is 4. So 4 gases whose rate of diffusion is more than sulfur dioxide. And there are 2 gases. What are they? Sulfur trioxide and chlorine. So 2 gases whose rate of diffusion is less than sulfur dioxide. Okay. Because these 2 gases, the molecular mass is more than sulfur dioxide. Okay. So the densities of the 2 gases are in the ratio 1:16, the ratio of their rates of diffusion. So 2 gases given, the rate of diffusion to be calculated, their densities we know, rate of diffusion densities are inversely proportional. So directly you can substitute R1 by R2, which is equal to square root of D2. The rate of density of second gas is 16 and 4. So 16 by 4 I am writing. So when I take it out, it will be 4. So the answer for this particular question is 4. Okay. So densities of the 2 gases are given 1:16. So this is first gas R1 and this is D1 and this is D2. So R1 by R2 when you take D2 by D1 square root, so 16 by 1, so it is coming out to be 4. So I think these are the few questions that we can expect in the advanced level advanced level examination as far as the Graham's law and one question, the matrix match, which we have seen with respect to the Dalton's law as well. Okay. I think you have got the clear idea how to apply the concept, how to apply the mathematical equation and how to solve it, and how we can correlate the densities with respect to the rates of diffusion, how we are correlating the molecular masses with respect to the rates of diffusion. So all these things you have to keep it in mind while you are solving the numericals. As I told you, gaseous state is a physical chemistry chapter. Generally we expect numericals in the examination. So you have to focus on those equations, you have to remember those equations and just analyze the parameters given in the question and then apply it. Once you analyze, 99.9% of problem is solved. Only mathematical operations are left. So you can easily apply and you can easily solve it. Okay. I think you have enjoyed today's class as well. I will come up with some more interesting topic in the next class. Until then, have a nice time. Thank you.